Jawohl, mein Untermensch. Ich bin Klaus Schwab from the World Economic Forum. Guten Tag. Follow und like the Triple B, cause he is ein boxing expert. Okay? Und you will eat the bugs and you will be happy. Danke schon. I hope you like and get the intro from Klaus Schwab, the Ubermensch from the World Economic Forum. Anyway, I'm a bit juvenile, man, but you know, there's actually a serious message beneath this, man. These are the people that run your lives, you know. Why is he wearing some weird ass Mortal Kombat, you know, Sub-Zero type suit? I don't know, man. The world has become, the timeline has become, it's a meme. The timeline has become so messed up that nothing would surprise me, man. Anyway, this is a boxing channel, huh? Yeah, everybody knows it's a boxing channel. Not only that, but your boy the Chuppy does it for the fans like Ricky Hatton. I'm sorry, man. It's pathetic to laugh at. But anyway, so what's going on in boxing? You know, the Chuppy likes to do a video a day. He said that. Well, there's not a lot, as usual. There's not a lot. We got, what's his name? Andy Ruiz Luis Ortiz at the weekend. That's not a bad fight. It's not a bad fight. Ruiz probably not been a bit of a wasted talent, really. A Buster Douglas type. Buster Douglas also was very talented. He just, you know, he just liked burgers. He liked burgers. He liked to eat. You know, but he had that great performance against Tyson. Tyson apparently did not train much. You know, he was nutting like Japanese women and such. So, you know, but at least I do like a half decent fight, especially the heavyweights, because as I said many times, man, I love boxing, all of boxing. I watch flyweights and all that, but you know, there's only one real division that counts, the heavyweights, right? Because, you know, the top boy heavyweight is a top boy of boxing. Doesn't matter how good Floyd Mayweather is, you know, or Chocolatito Gonzalez. Chocolatito is like 8 stone, man. You know, he can't hang with someone 2 weights above him, let alone Andy Ruiz, you know. So, you know, if boxing was pure, there would be no weight divisions. But I understand why they exist. You know, don't get me wrong, man. You know, because if it was just heavyweights, you know, this we would get a lot of, you know, all these lower weight guys are very skillful, would have no chance. Anyway, Ruiz vs Ortiz. I think Andy will win, and I think on points. Ruiz, funnily enough, is not that big a puncher, even though he obviously battered Gay J. But he's not that big a puncher. Ortiz is old, so there's a possibility he'll fold. You know, sometimes, you know, when you get old, your chin just completely goes. You know, there's a few fighters that used to have great chins, and then they suddenly just ghost, man. You know, remember Jeff Fennick, Australia's best ever fighter. You know, this guy was in the Olympics a year and a half after starting out boxing at 17. I can't remember how far he got, but he got quite far, but not medals. And then, you know, he won. I think he won a world title in his 4th fight. I mean, this guy was serious, man. And you know, he was known for his chin. And then he got knocked out by Zuma Nelson. Then he started to get ironed out by non-punchers. You know, I can't remember the guys off the top of my head who ironed him out, but Calvin something. But you know, these guys didn't possess a punch. They were not known as punchers. Philip Holiday, I think, was one of them. You know, but his chin just went. You know, in MMA, well, I know it's a different sport, but it's a good comparison. Chuck Liddell, or Liddell as American calls him. He got, you know, he was known for his chin and his power, and then he started getting knocked out by everyone. You know, so time does weird things for a chin, and it's not surprising, man. If you get your brain rattled too many times, there's obviously going to be some permanent damage there. So Ortiz, there's a possibility Ortiz will get stopped because of just his age, man. And he hasn't had beatings, but he's been knocked out. So, but I like Andy. I've always liked Andy. I mean, even though he's a bit of a low IQ degenerate, getting his ass tattooed. I mean, come on, man. Eating pizzas all the time and filming it instead of training for Gay J, which he could have beat 2 times. I will always hold him warm to my heart because he battered Gay J. And I won about £800 to £1,000. I can't remember. I think it was 800 because I couldn't believe how wide the odds were. Yeah, and Ruiz had fought 5 weeks before. And it was on target, and I just watched Ruiz on the pads. He looked sharp, even though he's fat. And people were laughing at him before. I remember, how can that fat guy beat Joshua? I said, let me tell you this, I'm not saying he's going to win, but he's a way better fighter, natural fighter than Joshua. A way better natural fighter than Joshua. I still thought Joshua would win, but I didn't think it was like 8-1 outside of Ruiz or whatever. Anyway, or whatever it was at the time. Anyway, I won some good money in that, so I always have a lot of love for Andy Ruiz. I just wish he stopped the stupid tattoo stuff. What else we got going on? So, I don't like to mention meme fighters and that, but Jake Paul gets a lot of headlines. Yeah. And, I consider him a professional fighter. I just don't consider him a high-level one. Yeah? But you remember, when he was going to fight that Hasim Rockman, the WBC even said, I think it's WBC, we're going to rank him, which was crazy, really. But rank him if you beat him. And he's fighting Anderson Silva. And Anderson Silva is a well-known MMA fighter. Yeah? He's a well-known MMA fighter. And he can fight. He's had a few... I can't remember off the top of my head now, but he's had a few boxing fights. One of them he got starched by nobody. But I watched him fight. Who was the last guy he fought, man? I can't even remember. But whoever it was, he showed some boxing ability, but he's like 47, man. Come on. Come on, man. He's going to get sparked by Jake Paul. And if you go to the bookies, they're both around evens. Both around evens. I mean, to me, that's ridiculous. Anderson Silva will get absolutely ironed out. Not because he's not a good fighter, but he's 47. And he's been knocked out before. Yeah. And, it's another celeb showpiece fight. I don't know what I'm talking about it, so I'll stop talking about it. On to serious boxer, Josh Taylor. So Josh Taylor just gave up. Well, he's given up all his titles now, including recently the IBF, except the WBO. Yeah? And he goes, it's because I want to make sure I fight Jake Catterall again. That's weird, man, because he was a unified champion or undisputed or whatnot. And he gave up all his titles to fight Catterall. Now, I had Catterall winning that fight by about 2 rounds. I didn't think he dominated or anything. It was a good fight. I never thought Catterall was much above European level, but he did prove himself that night. So I imagine the other guy, what's called governing bodies have been leaning on him to fight their mandatories, and he doesn't want to. He wants to fight Catterall because there's a narrative there. He's always how they always use these new words. There's a narrative there. There's a story there. Basically, it just means they got something to sell. I got robbed, and now we're gonna put it straight. But that's okay, man. I got no problem with that, to be honest, because I think Taylor is outgrown the division, but he wants that fight again to get a good payday. Well, that's fair enough, man. These guys are risking, their lives, their brains, their life expectancy. You know what? I did some research, and apparently a professional fighter has 7 years less life expectancy than the population. Now, also, the other thing you got to remember, right? With data, you've always got to remember, it's very easy to slant data. Because the average life expectancy for a man, I think in the UK is 78, right? So they're saying pro fighter in the UK would live to 71. That's not necessarily true, because the 78 life expectancy also includes infant deaths, What would be more realistic was like, what's the life expectancy of someone once they reach 18 or whatever. Anyway, look, man, this is another topic. But you understand how easy it is to manipulate data. But I would suspect the average pro lives 10 years less than the average life expectancy for a man who's reached 18. That's what I would suggest. I mean, it's a dangerous... There's no joke, man. There's no joke. There's been a few articles and books on it. People don't like to talk much about the damage of boxing causes. I read half a book by a guy called Tris Dixon. He's not a good writer. He was a... what did he do? He was a boxing news editor. He was really whack. He tried to make boxing news like Just 17 and always talk about tweets. But he's written a couple of good books. I'll give him that. And then one of them was about, mortality and as a, mental health of fighters and brain damage and how many of them ended up in institutes, especially back in the day. Now, they were brutal back in the day. You watch them fights and sometimes so the guy will be out on his feet and then the referee will just let them smash them. And they're wearing horsehair gloves. There's no foam here, man. The horsehair basically is hard. It might as well be bare knuckle, So, anyway. So, yeah, Josh Taylor, that's fine. I think Josh Taylor will take that fight and move up. I think that's his plan. I think it's clearly his plan. Final story from today. So, Maurice Breidis. Now, he's a very good fighter. He just lost to Jay Opataya on a close decision. It was a nuts fight. Breidis is so tough. He's also been bizarrely trying to chase Jake Paul, which is a bit sad. I mean, I understand it because he wants a good payday, So I'm not hating on a guy like a warrior like Maurice Breidis. How can you hate on that guy, man? You remember he knocked out who's that Syrian dude? Manuel, a.k.a. Mahmoud Shah, a fully blown heavyweight. I don't know what his world title status is now, But, this Maurice Breidis is a great boxer. He gave Usyk his hardest fight. So he's, obviously he's known in Australia because he just lost to Jay Opataya, although it was close. And there's a guy called Justis Huni. Now, Justis Huni has only had 6 fights with 4 KOs. He knocked out a guy called Paul Galen. I think he's an Aussie football player. He's not very good. I mean, obviously he's tough, but he was pretty rubbish. He got knocked out in 10. And the guy's basically a novice pro. Yeah. I mean, he's an experienced amateur, though. And they're talking that he should fight Breidis. I mean, I don't... Especially after his last performance, I don't think that's a great move. I understand. Breidis is known now in Australia. Huni's known. Australia seems to be the king of meme fights. They have all these rugby players fighting. It's not a serious sport in Australia. They don't really follow it that much. So they have to get celebrity, what do you call it? Celebrity glory in it, Get someone that's well known. And if you speak something controversial like Mundine or whatnot, and we'll get all these rugby players to play and blah de blah. I think that's actually the future for the world, unfortunately. You can see that it's happening now. Boxing is becoming a meme sport. And what I mean by that is that, the seriousness. And what's the biggest... think about this. What's the biggest boxing fight to have happened in the last, 5 years or whatever? It was Mayweather-McGregor. They have the biggest purses and the most world interest. Yeah? A guy who'd never had a pro fight. He's one of the alleged best ever. It's insane. Yeah? And, believe me, if Jake Paul gets a position where he fights for a genuine world championship, that will probably be the most watched boxing event ever. Even though he's just he's not just a YouTuber, he's clearly a pro fighter. What do people that put him down? He's just a YouTuber. No, man, this guy trains with pros. He can punch. I'm not saying he's the best ever, obviously. But this guy at least, puts his neck on the line. Well, as long as fights aren't fixed, right? I don't believe that fixing meme that much. But, You know, my old trainer said, anyone who steps between the ropes, you've got to give them respect. Because that's when it gets tough, and especially when you've got millions watching you. So, to be frank, I don't know, man. Is this a window on future pro boxing? What's happening in Australia boxing? Just meme fights, virtual WWE, and are they going to be fixed? I don't know, man. But you know, my heart feels heavy on boxing. I think I'm going to start watching bowls, because I'm pretty sure bowls is clean. No steroids, yeah, no PEDs. Some nice old people throwing the bowls. You know, and I don't believe there's any fixing bowls, at least not yet. So I think I'm going to follow bowls.